Hello and welcome to my video, lesson 4.2, simplifying rational expressions. So to start with, let's look at the most simple example where we just have some constants, and if it's just a fraction. Okay, so 3 over 9. So what you're doing here is you're just trying to simplify, so you're trying to divide by the same number on top and bottom, or another way you could call it is to factor top and bottom, and that's pretty much it. So here in this first question, we can divide by 3 on the top, and we can divide by 3 on the bottom, so it gives us 1/3. So for a regular simple fraction, this is perfectly fine. And then this next one, we're going to have to do just a little bit more complicated. Yes, the 4 is obvious because it's just like a fraction. It is a fraction. But we can choose the smallest number of x's. So the bottom has 1 x, and we can use that, and we can divide by that. So if we do that, we'll be left with x on top and 2 on the bottom. Okay. What's a little bit more complicated is once you see some binomials or trinomials on the top or the bottom, things can get a little bit more complicated. So I chose specifically to make these complicated examples. Usually they'll be a little bit more simple than that, but we're going to start with what we've got here. All right, so step 1. Factor fully first, and we're going to follow these steps here exactly. These are the steps I recommend to take every single time. Otherwise, you're almost guaranteed to make a mistake. So factor first fully. So when I say that, you go through the same process as in the factoring review. Start with greatest common factor, and then go from there. So first step is on the top, we can take out a 4. So 4x squared minus 25. On the bottom, we can take out a 6. So 6 bracket x squared plus 3x minus 10. Right? Yep, minus 10. Okay, so now we have it broken up like this, but it's still not factored completely, so fully factor it. So what you want to do at this point is, at the top, we can see we have a perfect square, difference of squares. So just like we normally do, this first one, we take the square root, put it here and here. Then we go plus and minus, and we take the second one, take the square root, put it here and here. And now we're done that one. The second part is now we have to do the bottom of our fraction, or rational expression, which has a trinomial. So you have to put x, x, and then you need to ask yourself, okay, where are the, what are the operations and where are they? So we have a negative here, which means that one of our two numbers is going to be negative, and over here we have a positive, so only one of them are going to be negative. So that is key. So one of our two is going to be positive, one of our two is going to be negative. And we know because this number is positive that our bigger number is positive. Okay, so what two numbers multiply to get 10? So my first gut, I try to go in the middle, just generally speaking, because that's what teachers often have for answers. So 5 times 2 is 10. So if you take a look at that, if you added those two, so that's the product here, if you multiply them, it should get 10. And then if you added them, you should get 3, a positive 3. Okay, yes, that works. Fantastic. So now what you need to do is you need to state the NPVs, the non-permissible values. So you look at the bottom of your fraction, and you say x cannot equal, and then based off of this part, x cannot equal -5. If you don't remember this, look at the last video, 4.1. and you look at this part, and x cannot equal positive 2, or you can just write 2. Okay, so those are NPVs. And then we look at simplifying. So what can we do to simplify? Well, if you see the same thing on the top and the bottom, you can cancel those out, cross those out. And you can also look at your constants and see if those simplify further. And in this case they do, if you divide by 2 for both. So gives us 2/3, and then the leftovers, so x minus 5 and x minus 2. And that is our simplified fraction. All right, let's take a look at our next one here. I'm going to pause for a second. You guys try this out yourselves. You've seen me do it. Now you try it, pause the video, and press play once you've got it. All right, so same process as before. We're factoring fully first. So what we can do is we can take out a 2 on top, and we can take out a 4 on the bottom. We're left with a squared minus 4 on the bottom. We're left with an a squared plus a minus 6 on top. Does that work out? Yes, that should work out. So now what you can do is you can rewrite it out, but factor the difference of squares and the trinomial. So let's start with the trinomial because that's on top. I usually start on the top. So let's factor out this one. So we're going to have an a, we're going to have an a, and then just like before, we have a negative here, we have a positive here, which means one of them is positive, one of them is negative, and the bigger number is positive because the this one here is positive. All right, so what two numbers multiply to get 6? Well, 3 and 2, and the bigger number is the 3, so that's why we're putting them there. And do they add together to get 1? Yes, they do. Okay, and perfect difference of squares, so we put the square root here and here. Then we do plus and minus, and then you take the square root of the other one, put that here and here. And finally, last step, we simplify. So our constants can be simplified to 1 over 2. We can cross out our a minus 2 because they're the same top and bottom. And so we're left with a plus 3 and a plus 2. All right. I hope this video helps you understand simplifying rational expressions. There's a bazillion examples of this that you could possibly make, but these are some of the most complicated ones that you could possibly see in 30-2. Good luck, everyone, and have a nice day.